Hi everybody, Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and this is my entry into Randy Weaver's contest, Start Me Up, where he asks us to show the music we play when we get up in the morning and what starts our day. So what I did was Chester's down here gnawing on his bone, and he keeps moving this little table that my laptop's sitting on. Try not to do that anymore, Chester. But he wanted us to show the records that we play first thing in the morning. Well, what I did was I just started setting aside whatever record I started my day with for the last 7 days. So starting with last Saturday, I will go through what I played each day to start my day. But first, what are we listening to? Well, you can hear that Chris Christopherson song, but it's not actually Chris singing, is it? It's Gordon Lightfoot, and this is Sit Down Young Stranger. And interestingly enough, Gordon Lightfoot, one of the great songwriters, recording another one of the great songwriters on his album. But nice album. Okay, last Saturday, the first album I played was from 1972, Canned Heat. And this one, of course, is called Historical Figures and Ancient Heads. Flips over to the top. There we go. Nice Canned Heat album. You're fairly typical of what you would expect from them. And it was a nice way to start the morning. When I start off in the morning, after I get out of the shower and everything, I'll come on in the kitchen, living room area, put on a record, and start doing my morning chores, get medicines together, and starting on breakfast, things like that. Always looking out the window in the morning to see if my deer are out wandering around in the backyard or not. I got a bunch of deer that live in the woods next to my house, and they come out a lot. So I enjoy watching them. Okay, and on Sunday morning when I got up from 1976 on RCA, Chester and Lester, Chet Atkins and Les Paul. Nice little album. Doing, I noticed several of the songs are ones that Les Paul made famous. It's been a long time. I know his Les Paul's Avalon, I believe, is one he did. Is the Lover Come Back to Me. Great guitars. So that was a wonderful way to start my day on Sunday. They're so tasteful, both of them. And the next day, which would have been this Monday, Marina Mulder, Southern Winds. This is an album from 1978, and it's not my favorite Marina Muldoon album. Side one, I remember, was more, it's 1978, hoping to maybe get a hit out of it, a radio hit or something, and it was more popish. Notice side two was a little less concentrated on the pop side, and I think I liked side two a little bit better. But she does music from Leon Russell and J.J. Cale. Tuesday morning, I spent all morning working on this record. This is one from 1970, a compilation. Bessie Smith, the world's greatest blues singer. And this is on Columbia. And this was a project record. I cleaned it up really good. And of course, a lot of these the masters were lost long ago, and they were needle drops from old 78s. So you're not going to get this great quality, nothing to see there. But they had done a pretty good job of cleaning them up. But it seemed side one and two, said two record set. Side one and two played nice, but side three and four, even though I cleaned it up really well, I kept finding loop skips in it. So I didn't want to lose this record, especially since, one whole album of the two albums played without any problems. So I kept carrying it back into the dining room where I've got a big magnifying glass set up with a turntable. I can bring the magnifying glass down and take a little toothpick and try to find where the problem is and try to smooth out that line. You're going to damage the groove a little bit probably doing that, but it already had noise in it because these were needle drops from old 78s. So it's not like I was going to take some audiophile record and ruin it. And I would clean one out on side one of the second record, go put it back on, I'd get it to play through, and then 2 songs later, the same thing would happen. And then on side 4, there must have been 4 or 5 songs that had one place in it that would get stuck. So I kept working at it, and I spent all morning going back and forth, and eventually I got them all worked out. So I was glad to do that. Glad to know that my Bessie Smith album would play all the way through, and I could disregard, any surface noise I'm hearing, knowing that it's, they're preserving this as best they could. I believe that carries us to Wednesday, doesn't it? And I was really impressed with this album from 1969. One of my favorite pop artists, Glenn Campbell, and this is the album Galveston, the Vietnam War song, and nice photo there. And this album, it played beautifully. This is one of these $2 records I picked up. Played flawlessly. I cleaned it up good, of course, but played with no surface noise, no crackle, no pop, nothing on it. But what was amazing about the recording was the sound stage on it. Now, I don't know, I've got a preamp here, a phono amp. I don't have on this old receiver, it's not that old receiver, this 2-channel Sony receiver, it doesn't have a phono amp. So this is a Cambridge Audio Solo that I picked up a few weeks ago. And so it's playing through this, and I guess they break in. I don't know. I don't know if it was the quality of this pressing or if this phono amp broke in at the perfect time. But it was sitting in this chair over here with a speaker to my left and to my right in this small little living room I'm sitting in. The soundstage was just unbelievable. I mean, you had certain sounds coming out of each speaker, but the vocals, Glenn Campbell's voice was not coming, it gave me the illusion, it was not coming from the left or the right speaker. It was coming from the middle, right between the two, where his voice was, and you had some guitar solos over here, and you hear more of the percussion over here and things like that. So it's just an amazing sound stage. I don't know, maybe it's the combination of a great mix, a great pressing, great engineering. This is not audiophile equipment. These are Polk Audio RTI 3A bookshelf speakers. They're nice speakers, but they're not, they're $400 speakers, not $4,000 speakers. Chester, you got to quit moving this. A dual turntable here at $12.29. A Sony, $200 or so when it was new. Sony 2012 2-channel receiver that didn't even have a phono amp in it, but it just sounded unbelievable. I was like, wow, that is what people search for here. Okay, and then on Thursday I listened to this compilation from 1970, a greatest hits, a 2-record greatest hits for the Everly Brothers. And this is original greatest hits, 2 records, and it's on Barnaby Records, which is was it Columbia? I believe major label, but yeah, CBS Records, Barnaby. Interesting thing on this one, it's got a quiz, rock and roll quiz, and you have to buy the record, look on the other side, and get the answers to the rock and roll quiz. Now you can see this record cover is beat up, but you don't play the record. It's played. Let's see, I got a very, very good. So it wasn't quite very good plus, but it was darn close to very good plus. But now the audio quality, this was simulated stereo after the fact, you know. So wasn't a great sound, I'd say. But you know, you could hear the harmonies of the 2 brothers very well. It's a pleasant album, okay, and a good way to start your morning. And then this morning, I played from 1979, Emmylou Harris, Blue Kentucky Girl. And this is a great album to listen to. And Don Everly actually sings on this one. I like that picture. And what better way to start your morning than with Emmylou Harris? And here's the thing, I buy a lot of used records, and you know, some records hold their value or sell for a lot on the used market, and others don't. A lot of country does it. Emmylou's records can be found very cheap, but Beatles records and Led Zeppelin records and things like that can be found very cheap too. But usually when the Beatles or the Led Zeppelin records or the Rolling Stones records are in that $1, $2 category, it's because they've been really played very roughly over the years and they're in really rough shape. Well, these records you can find in excellent shape. They're not $2 or $1 because they're beat to death. They're $2 because there's just not as much demand for them as the classic rock or the jazz. And so you can find pristine, and this is a very pristine, this is very good plus after I cleaned it up and didn't even need that much cleaning. Very good plus sounding record. And I was busy this morning, so I didn't get to really just sit in the chair and just listen. But it was very, very pleasant album, as I knew it would be. Rodney Crowell's on there. It's got all the Ricky Skaggs, Glenn D. Harden, and Emery Gordy. James Burton's playing guitar on here, as is Albert Lee. So just some classic. Hank DeVito's playing pedal steel on here. Some classic studio and touring musicians playing on Emmylou's album. And she's got special guests, Faith Sue Starling and Dolly Parton and Linda Ronstadt and Tanya Tucker. And as I mentioned earlier, Don Everly and Sharon Hicks and Cheryl Warren, the White Girls. So those are the things I've started my day with this week. So everybody remember, subscribe to, if you don't already, subscribe to Randy's channel. I'll put a link down below. And remember to be kind to your neighbors, because folks, we're all neighbors.